You're watching Amateur Attempts, the show where I take recipes on YouTube and try to recreate them as an amateur in the kitchen. Today we're making a recipe by Brian Lagerstrom. It's a 30-minute al pastor tacos, weeknight tacos, thanks to a fellow viewer that I don't know personally. Their name is Jake Stiles, and they had a request. They wanted to see me make this particular recipe in exchange for paying for the groceries. Sounds like a good deal to me. So thank you, Jake. I really appreciate your support. But without further ado, all we have to do is slice into these tomatillos, onion, and poblano, get it on the stove to simmer because we're making a salsa, and we should be good to go. Brian claims you can do this in 30 minutes. I think that's cap. I don't believe that. So I have this little timer here that's counting down from 30. As soon as I start cutting the vegetables, start the timer now. So after being brought to tears by some onions, got everything in the saucepan. Is that how you? Yeah, the saucepan. It took me about 16 minutes, and that's more than half of our 30-minute allocation just to dice up and get some vegetables in a pot. We haven't even started simmering this, and then we gotta prep the marinade to get the chicken in the oven. It's a lot. Only thing that's left to do is put this on the stove for about 10 minutes, get it to simmer. We're gonna add a little bit of water, a little bit of salt that I already have pre-measured out. So the next part of this 30-minute recipe is to get the chicken marinade going, and I have since pre-measured out all of our seasonings. We have to dice this pineapple still, juice these oranges, and then get it blended. I don't have an immersion blender like he did, so I'm gonna use a regular blender, see if that works out. We've used most of our time already, but I promise I'm trying to move fast as quickly as possible. There's just a lot of steps involved, but for a weeknight dinner, maybe this is still viable in under an hour. But anyway, we're gonna cut into this pineapple. So I'm gonna cut this pineapple in half, get some cubes into the blender, and then save the rest for planks for the broiler. I've since cleaned up the pineapple, gave it a little trimming on the edges, and now we're just gonna get some planks going for the broiler. My salsa is looking a lot chunkier than his was in the video. So what I'm gonna do is give it a quick little blend. But, we're gonna try to go for it anyway. Oh, geez. Oh. I'm not really trying to break it down all the way. I don't want it like silky smooth. I just want it like a little smoother because like I said, it was too chunky to start with. That looks good. Looking like a nice salsa verde. So now you just gotta clean the blender and prepare it for the marinade. But I'm gonna get this into the bowl. The elusive freezer bowl that he recommended putting in at the start of the video to rapidly chill the salsa. So we have the salsa verde in the frozen bowl, and it's feeling a little lackluster. I'm not gonna lie to you, I tried it. So after some seasoning, some salt, and some cayenne, I think we've salvaged this to make this substantially better. I don't know if the recipe, I think maybe my tomatillos weren't like as ripe as possible. I don't know. I don't wanna say the recipe was off. Definitely seasoned to taste, because after adding those two elements, it's substantially better now. So I have since squeezed the adequate amount of juice from 2 oranges, and now all that's left is to add all of the other ingredients. We got the condiment paste, the annatto condiment paste, which is ground annatto seeds, wheat, salt, and then we have some water in here, a little bit of vinegar. We got seasonings in here. We have some cumin, we have some salt, we have some chili powder, we have some sugar. And lastly, we're gonna add that good shit, that Mexican oregano right here. Now we just gotta blend it all up. Ooh, that's fragrant. So we have the marinade blended up, and it's a lot darker in color than his was. It might come down to the condiment paste that you have. I got one from my local market. It wasn't exactly the brand that he used because I couldn't find that one. Here's the condiment paste. You can see that, well, camera angle's a little different here, but so we have 2.2 pounds of chicken thighs. The recipe calls for 2. The package had a little bit more than that, so that's why I have 2.2. And now we're just gonna slather on some marinade, really work it in there with my phalanges, my fingy wingies, get it into the oven at long last. I think mine actually isn't quite as thick as his marinade was. His seemed a little bit chunkier, to be honest with you. Mine's a little bit more liquidy. Alas, I did not have an immersion blender. He also uses tongs when he marinates his chicken. Like, he doesn't even touch it with his hands. I also don't own a set of tongs because, I don't know, man. Like, I don't own a lot of common things that you would find in your kitchen. So into the oven it goes at long last. It's only been like an hour or something. Like, we're making good time though. We have the pineapple, we have the chicken thighs, charred nicely. They're pretty blackened, not too bad, except for this one piece. This pineapple is like destroyed, it's gone. Just that one piece, I don't know, I guess that one was like the closest to the hot spot. But we're gonna cut this all up and then get it into the pan, refry it with some more soaps, and hopefully assemble the tacos. We are in the final steps. So I've since diced up the chicken thighs and the pineapple that we roasted in the oven under the broiler. Now I just gotta add it to the pan, refry it with some extra of that leftover marinade, and then we'll be good to go. So I'm just gonna grab my meat and I'm gonna get this chicken in there. If you toss it and the juices are already made, that's free flavor. And if that ain't but cheaper, I don't know what is. In addition to having the chicken going in the background, I'm gonna get these tortillas started just so that they're warm and ready to receive our meat. And lastly, we just have to grate some cheese to top it all off. We're almost there, we're in the home stretch. I know I said that like twice already, but we're actually this time almost there. So we finally have everything in front of us after about 2 hours. You could probably get away with like an hour and a half at most if you're not dealing with video production. But yeah, it did take me about 2 hours for this 30-minute recipe, just so you know. But the only things left to do is for me to grab my meat, put it on the plate here, down the center. Now, we're gonna add the cilantro, the onion, down the center as well, and our tomatillo salsa, which came together in the freezer nicely. It does have a good consistency. It's nice and gloopy. That's probably not what you want to hear when you describe salsa, but yeah, it's dummy thick. A little bit of our grated queso fresco. Queso fresco. Just like that. There you go. That's it. That's our weeknight 30-minute taco by Brian. I don't know how to say his last name. You can see that. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? Looking nice. So the only thing left is to try it, and I'm excited, I'm not gonna lie, because it looks nice. Like, presentation-wise, this looks the part. It looks like a proper taco. So let's see what we got. That is actually pretty good. Is it quite to the level that I was expecting? I think not, probably because I've had al pastor tacos before and I kind of know what to expect, so it's not really, but it is, you know, close enough. I think for a weeknight meal, you wouldn't be disappointed with this, though it's lacking in something. There's something that I can't put my finger on that it needs, but it's sweet, it's savory, the chicken's nice, the tortillas are great. The salsa verde, I don't think it adds too much to the equation because it's kind of washed out between the chicken and the tortillas, which are actually pretty flavorful. I guess that would depend on which ones you use, but it is a nice salsa on its own if you just try it, or if you dip your taco in it on the side, I think that would also be a good move. But overall, I think this is a good, approachable recipe if you have a little bit of time. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I appreciate Jake Stiles. Jake, I hope you enjoyed watching me recreate this recipe. I hope I did it justice. It may have taken me longer than expected, but I did try my best. I mean, an amateur did it. You could do it too. I also want to thank my patrons. Shout out to Egots, our original patron. And of course, everyone on the fridge. If you too want to get on the fridge, Patreon is linked in the pinned comment below.